Hello, my name is Kara Bernstein, and I am here at the Green Valley Ranch in Las Vegas for our CMO Digital Retail West Assembly. And I am joined by Mark Schaefer. He is a consultant, author, and speaker. Thank you so much for being here, Mark.
It's a delight. I love coming to these events. I always learn so much.
Good. We'll come back again.
I will.
So, I want to ask you about the rate of change in this world of digital transformation. It's really remarkable, and I could imagine consumers are confused and overwhelmed by the trends and the pace of technology. So, how do you suggest people stay ahead of this curve?
Well, that's really why I wrote this new book, because I saw that marketers everywhere are getting overwhelmed by technology. And I think that's part of the problem is we're spending too much time on the technology and keeping up. Meanwhile, the customers have moved away from us. And I think one of the key ideas in the book is that it's impossible, really, to be an expert in everything that's happening. And it's sort of a little shakes you a little bit to think that today and this moment is the slowest day of technology change we'll ever see. All right, so it's just going to get worse. If you think it's going crazy now, you ain't seen nothing yet. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. So how do you really manage that as a company or as an individual or as a marketer? And my idea is you don't focus on what's changing. You focus on what's not changing, which are these constant human needs. And we've lost sight that our customers are out there and they're crying out for our help. And they're changing and their world is changing and they want us to listen to them and find their unmet and underserved needs instead and get our heads out of this dashboard. So the key, really, I think, to managing this change is to put the technology in service of the customers. Don't be preoccupied with the technology, be preoccupied with the customers, then figure out the technology.
It's so easy to get wrapped up in it all.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it sure is.
So, your book, Marketing Rebellion, also talks a lot about customer loyalty and how it's kind of dwindling, right? So, this buzzword, it's going around a lot at our assembly and all of our marketing assemblies. And so, I'm curious about this. Why is it dying, and what do we need to do about it?
Well, this was one of the research items that I mentioned in my speech, that when I came across this research, which is profound, by the way, and widespread from a lot of big research companies, they conclude that loyalty is dying because of the hyper-empowered, technology-savvy consumers. They just get on their devices, and sometimes they order things they don't even know where it comes from. And so 87% of our customers are shop-around customers. And there is a clue in specifically in this McKinsey research report, which is one of the best studies in this area. And they said one of the reasons why loyalty is in decline is because emotion is in decline. As we go more and more digital, we go less and less emotion. So there's a clue there. Our role as marketers, we need to reinsert emotion. We've got to fight for emotion. And that really kind of redefines our jobs. We've known it all along. I mentioned in my speech that marketing in my first marketing textbook was defined as a combination of psychology, sociology, and anthropology. Marketing is all things human. And we've forgotten about that. And we've made marketing all things tech. And we need to get back to that emotion, that human connection.
It's going back to the basics.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, human impressions versus advertising impressions. Your book also mentions that businesses, they must be built on one and not the other. So, talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, there's a lot of big marketing trends today that are like values-based marketing, purpose-led marketing is one of the things that's getting a lot of attention right now. But what they're really saying is that people want to believe in something. It's hard to believe in branded content. In fact, most people don't believe it. It's hard to believe in an ad or a logo or a slogan. But people believe in people. They trust in businesses, brands, and advertising has declined 10 years in a row, but people trust each other. And they trust their neighbors. They trust their friends. They trust technical experts. They trust business leaders. And so one of the trends that we see is that people are creating an emotional bond to a person. It's the personal brand is becoming the brand. That is very hard for legacy institutions to adopt. You know, a big airline or a big car company, for example. But look at the emotion that goes toward Tesla and Elon Musk versus another car company, right? Because you can only really love a person. So that's the idea of human impressions. I think increasingly, this is a big idea, that the businesses and brands of the past were built on advertising impressions, and the businesses and brands of the future will be built on human impressions.
And do you think that has to do with something with scale as well? I noticed
Yeah.
in your speech you had mentioned about your brand, your favorite brand, Glossier, that's doing a lot of that kind of thing. Is that because it is smaller scale, or
Well, it is, but it's also intention. So I've often had this fantasy about what would happen if one of these big companies, instead of spending millions and millions of dollars on some advertising campaign, they just took a percentage of that and they hired people just to talk to their customers, right? That's what we really want. That's what would blow people away. We'll see if it happens or not. It is happening with smaller companies. I think the digital natives are showing us the way in marketing leadership today. I think they look at our interruptive legacy of advertising and marketing and they think, why would you do that? Why would you bother people? There's a better way. They're showing us the way with a lot of these new companies and the marketing that they're doing, which is very inspiring to me. But it is happening, and it is happening at big companies too. They're getting it, but it's going to be hard.
So I want to switch gears a bit and talk about the academic side of your career. So you are a professor at Rutgers University in New
Yeah,
Jersey.
right.
So what are you teaching to these grad students about leadership in this new digital era? I'm sure a lot of aspiring marketers in the room. So what's kind of the major focus of your teachings?
You know, leadership, Kara, is so critically important for this marketing transition, because the types of marketing that matter to people today, word of mouth marketing, shared between friends, experiential marketing, like, you know, something that we're having here with these meetings. What's the ROI of face-to-face connections? What's the ROI of word of mouth? What's the ROI of an immersive experience? It doesn't fit easily in a dashboard. And there was a quote in this book. It's one of my favorite quotes in the book from a guy named Mark Simons. He's the founder of Giant Spoon, which is a leading experiential agency. And he said, you can either keep up with the pulse of culture or you can measure. You probably can't do both. Now, in my traditional marketing mind, I'm fighting over that, but I can't help but recognize the wisdom and the truth in it as well, is that marketing leadership, and this is I teach this a lot in my classes, is that it's going to take enlightened courage. Marketing in the future is going to be like experimental labs. We're just going to have to try new things and envision what would that look like if it worked. That's the measurement. And then if it kind of looks like that, maybe do some more. So we're going to be moving off the traditional dashboards to a great extent. And we're going to have to find new ways to measure. And that's going to take a great deal of strong leadership.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes.
There's never been a more fun or fascinating time to be in marketing.
It's true. So we're so happy you're here again at a Millennium Alliance Assembly. You came to a previous one moderating some sessions, and now you're our keynote presentation for our opening presentation. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts of coming to a small, intimate program like ours at the Millennium Alliance? What do you think are some of the benefits?
Well, I mean, this is the second one I've been to, and the reason I wanted to come back is just the first one just really had a profound impact on me. It was just an opportunity to sit and listen and learn from very brilliant, experienced people, and nothing can really replace that. I talked in my speech, and I talk about it extensively in my book, the power of bringing people together. We need to be doing more of that. You know what? It takes time. It takes effort. It takes money. But the marketing easy button is over. Those days are over. We need to roll up our sleeves. We need to make these personal connections. We need to humanize our brand. And bringing people together through events like this is a perfect way to do that.
Well, thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure, and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. My honor.